Good morning, this is KELOLAND On The Go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
Before being arrested on 3 counts of first-degree murder, former Centerville Mayor Jay Ostrom was involved in 2 civil lawsuits, including 1 death. In a 1999 arrest, a man lost his eye from injuries he sustained while resisting an arrest by Ostrom. The plaintiff said he used excessive force in the arrest.
In a 2001 domestic abuse report, a wife said that unreasonable, unnecessary, and unjustified use of excessive force was used by Ostrom and a colleague in the death of her husband. The judge dismissed both claims, and Ostrom didn't have to pay any damages.
In court yesterday, beyond acknowledging he understands the 3 first-degree murder charges he faces, Ostrom said little during a hearing at the Clay County Courthouse. Centerville's former mayor appeared in court to face 3 first-degree murder charges. He has a $1 million cash-only bond. A circuit court arraignment is set for Thursday, June 20th.
3 men involved in the shooting death of a Sioux Falls man are headed to prison for a long time. The 3 were all teenagers when they decided to rob Paul Billion of his marijuana at his home in 2022. During the robbery, one of the boys shot and killed Billion. Police used home surveillance cameras in the neighborhood to eventually track them down. The judge sentenced Sodiman Poli to 50 years in prison, Thomas Tarley to 65 years, and the shooter, Gabo Yuo, to 75 years. Now let's get a check on our weather with meteorologist Scott Munt. Good morning, Scott.
Well, good morning. We are looking at some morning showers, maybe an isolated thunder shower or 2. We'll continue to follow developing showers, thunder showers for this morning into the afternoon and evening as temperatures reach the 70s for afternoon highs. A high of 72 in Sioux Falls, 73 Aberdeen, 74 in Pierre, and 70 in Rapid City. Brian will have more details on your forecast coming up.
Thank you, Scott. Rapid City Parks and Recreation has started planting 25,000 flowers across multiple parks in town. This week-long project helps to provide a vibrant touch of color to the city's parks for those taking in the scenery. The project is aided by a special gardening group of teenagers who work alongside the adults to learn more about horticulture.
My favorite thing to do on the job is plant, which is what we're doing today here at Howley Park. We also get to pull all of the weeds. If you see us out in the communities, we're always in the flower beds, picking out the weeds in the grass, picking up trash, and hanging out at all the parks, getting to chat with people.
If you'd like to assist in these types of projects, we've provided a link with this story here on KELOLAND.com.
Residents in the Cathedral District of Sioux Falls are happy their green space is getting a facelift. After a few years of not knowing what the school district was planning on doing with the space, community members are now looking forward to the rebrand, starting with its new name.
Lincoln Commons name came because they said there are still some residents in the area that aren't quite sure. Well, should I be out here? Is it the schools? Is it the neighborhoods? Who does this belong to? So we'll probably do just some light branding. And then there's ideas, everything from, simple things like planting trees in strategic places, maybe enhancing the community garden spaces.
The district says there is no exact timeline for when the changes will take place. Residents say they hope to see more community events in the space this summer.
A summer full of live music kicks off Friday night in downtown Sioux Falls. That's when Levitt at the Falls opens its 2024 season. Crowds can enjoy a variety of genres this summer, including rock, country, Americana, and Latin. Evening concerts start at 7 o'clock.
People are able to bring a lawn chair or a blanket to the lawn, which they can lay out and enjoy the music. If you don't have that with you, you can rent one from us for $5.
The 50 concerts this summer are free. To see the schedule and complete lineup, head to this story on KELOLAND.com.
And that's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
Okay, our weather today, well, we're picking up these scattered showers and occasionally a little thunder out there too this morning. The primary thought, though, is that we'll see more activity this afternoon in our eastern counties. So West River folks, we're kind of cleaning things up this morning. I don't really expect much more happening in Rapid City this afternoon. But looking at Sioux Falls and much of the southeast, this is the latest from the Storm Prediction Center, and that is a marginal risk of severe weather. That means we definitely have to at least keep an eye on the weather, but it doesn't necessarily call out any major widespread development. I think some locally heavy rain, cloud to ground lightning. There could be a little hail with a couple of those storms. You can see these freckles. They've been bubbling up here the last couple of hours. And as we head through mid to late morning, there's definitely a few more of those out there. And because we're starting the day with rain already, that kind of saps some of that potential energy for larger storms. But there will be some of those around. Even having said that, Futurecast is trying to regroup here to some extent. So I would say for Sioux Falls, after 4:30 in the afternoon, especially towards 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, keep an eye on that because those bigger storms will be around Sioux Falls, Minnehaha, Lincoln counties. And then eventually this whole thing will work its way east and south after 9 o'clock tonight. Now, are we done with the rain? Not necessarily. Then we get some general scattered showers from Aberdeen to Pierre to Rapid City through daybreak tomorrow morning. And then we have to include some of that in our forecast tomorrow. Not widespread rain necessarily, but it's just enough where we've got showers around here and there, and that'll probably keep our temperatures down. Sioux Falls, we're going to cut the high to about 70 for your day tomorrow. I wanted to point out one other story about this rain today. There's a lot of variability out there. Now, don't get glued to or fixated to the exact numbers and exact spots, but what this communicates to us is that these thunderstorms, if you draw a circle around Sioux Falls about 50 or 60 miles, you're going to find some pretty decent downpours in portions of these counties. You're also going to see some gaps because these storms are not going to form a full line. Maybe we don't have as much in southwest Minnesota this go round. That would be okay for Worthington. But you're not off the hook here as we get into the weekend. Already there is a day 4 outlook here for eastern South Dakota, western Minnesota. That means the weekend weather will turn more volatile. We got a lot of heat and to some extent a lot of humidity trying to push north. We'll see how much that happens, and we'll be on and of course watching the whole scenario here from the Storm Center. Well, let's look at your 7-day forecast. With that in mind, our Sunday forecast tries to get back into the 80s. We'll see if we stay there into early next week. I think Tuesday would be another day where a storm potential will go up. A larger low pressure center comes in. The weather after that will be interesting to watch. It's looking like a pattern change, bigger ridge of high pressure to our west. We'll see if that calms down the storms across the Midwest, but that again is several days away and we're not there yet. Aberdeen, we expect some thunderstorms again on the region on Sunday. That's a big highlight day. That could start off with Sunday morning storms and then maybe again another round later in the day. Pierre, central South Dakota, you'll notice some heat here too. That's another piece of information we'll watch. 85 to 90 now in our forecast for early next week. And likewise, Rapid City looks like we are going to trend warmer, at least to kick off the new work week next week. Find out more details about all of that online at KELOLAND.com.